it's time
I mean,
for a little bit of
oh,
a question mark of an article. Are you ready for this, Mike?
yeah, we're bringing it back. It's
Uh,
been a while since we talked about this studio.
yeah. So Dice, Dice put out an article this, or I shouldn't say Dice did, PC Gamer did, but Dice put out a
Yes.
statement saying that they are only focusing on Battlefield 2042 and they have no time for other projects right now. Again, an article comes from PC Gamer. They said Dice is all in on Battlefield 2042 with head Rebecca Cotes.
I think it's
Butcher the
Cotis.
yeah, I think Cotes, saying that there's quote no time for anything else. Developer has largely existed to pump out a Battlefield games over the years, but I'll always love Dice for Mirror's Edge and its sequel Catalyst. Nearly 14 years later, the game still holds up beautifully from its sleek minimalist aesthetic to protagonist Fate's fluid movement. I, I get that I didn't read the whole article. I get the sense that he probably wants another Mirror's Edge game, which
Hmm.
that's probably not gonna happen anytime soon. I
I
love those games, by the way. Fantastic
Here,
games.
I'll give you the rundown. So I read it. It's by Molly Taylor, who I'm gonna click on the name, make sure it's a lady. It's a she. So she's a big Mirror's Edge fan, and she's very upset that Dice isn't making a Edge game, which is fair. Have you ever played Mirror's Edge?
Yeah, well, that's what I was talking
Loads.
about. Like, dude, those
Yeah.
games. Oh man,
Pretty.
like when I had my first Xbox 360, and that was one of the first games I got, and I was glued until I beat that game.
Dude, so it was so cool, man. It's like so addicting. I think that was right at the height, or like right at the beginning of lead up to the hype of surrounding parkour.
Yeah,
Remember that? Like
exactly.
nobody was like big into parkour, and then Mirror's Edge comes out. And we're like, this is amazing.
Yeah, right. I'm like,
Everybody's like,
dude.
I'm gonna run on walls and jump over stuff.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, so Dice is basically apparently the head of the studio is saying that they're actually working on Battlefield 2042, and we covered, was it last episode? Was the episode before when we found out, or there were rumors that Dice was basically done with 2042,
Yeah,
and they were
that
like,
was well. Yeah, that was the thing. People were like, yeah, like there was.
yeah,
I think a rumor that came out from like Jeff Grubb, like on his podcast. He was like, yeah, like Dice is pretty much like that Battlefield 2042 has a skeleton team. They're not really worried about it anymore. They're not
yeah,
focusing on it. And then like they came out like I don't know, it's the CEO or someone of the company came out and they were like, no, this is a lie. Like we definitely don't have just a skeleton team on that game. We have a full house like working on it. So yeah, I mean that was it, I mean, it's kind of like, oh, I mean, all right, I guess they're still focused on it. I mean, it's one of those things like, I guess part of me is kind of like, should they just ditch it at this point and move on to the next thing? Like, should they just take the L and just hold it and move on, or should they actually try and pump resource? And it sounds like the latter, at least from this article. Um, so Coda said that she wants the team to be really proud about Battlefield 2042, adding that we want Dice to be the number one spot for first-person shooting games in Europe and one of the powerhouses in the world. It's a fabulous team, and we're going to make magic together. So, they're still speaking highly. They want to make it a good game, and I mean, I guess I can respect them for that. And at the same time, I don't know if I doubt there's a Battlefield game coming out this year. We didn't hear anything about one, so it's probably going to be another year or so of 2042. So I mean, there's still time for it to recover. I don't want to be like pessimistic about that, but
yeah,
yeah, it's yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It's still the main focus over at Dice. So I'm hoping if it is the main focus, we really see some improvements. Over the next like 6 months of like what the game could have been at launch. So
yeah. They need to make serious improvements to bring that player count back up because on Steam it was looking abysmal, man. I think it got lower than Battlefield 3 at one point,
yeah, so
which is nuts. That's such an old game.
yeah,
Um,
for real.
but I do like what they said. Rebecca Cotes basically said that they couldn't do that to their players and we couldn't do it to ourselves. So they're obviously referencing the fact that they released a full AAA game that was broken, unfinished, and they charged people money for it.
Yep,
So
yep,
I think as a developer or anybody that makes a product and charges money for it, including services, right? You got to finish the job, man.
yeah, for
You
sure.
know. So
Yeah,
I think it's an obligation, maybe morally or at least ethically, it's an obligation that they have to go back and finish this game and make sure it's in working order.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I
I
mean, yeah, and I fully agree with that. You know, if they want to put the time in, and I think at this rate, it's all they can do. It's the least they can do. Is just go back and
yeah.
make sure at least some of the promises are fulfilled for that game.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, but I do think, any criticism that's been geared towards them, I have, like, I don't know what to say, like, no empathy? Is
yeah,
empathy the right one?
sympathy.
Apathy? I'm
Yeah,
apathetic towards the situation because it's like, dude, you're charging money. You advertise the game, you better finish it,
yeah.
and you better make it happen.
People paid. Honestly,
Yeah, that's a fact. So I think until then, they're gonna keep getting review bombed because that's what gamers are doing.
yeah,
But if they can fix it, man, it's the Battlefield. Battlefield fans are serious, dude. Like if you can fix the game and it's fun, they'll come back and they'll play it.
yeah.
They're gonna have
Oh
no
yeah,
issues.
yeah. I mean,
So,
a lot of FPS people out there, especially people that got into FPS probably through Battlefield. So there's fans.
oh yeah,
You
oh
gotta make them
definitely.
happy. You know. Um, I mean, I wish the best for this game.
I'm still
At the
waiting to
end of the
play it.
day,
I'm still waiting to buy it and play it, but I'm not doing it until I find
well, it
out
gets
that it's
good.
actually, good.
Yeah,
So,
respect.